Hi again, everyone. Gary Digit Williams here on the Boxing on the Beltway Podcast Network. The Boxing on the Beltway Podcast Network can always be heard on Spreaker, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, as well as on Spotify, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, and we're also on Stitcher as well. I think I'm missing someone there, but I know we're on just about every major podcast network. We're on there, and you can listen to it anytime. And of course, we have we have more than 600 podcasts on this network, and many of them you can hear again and again, over and over for free, including our live broadcasts as well. And TuneIn is where we're also located in. So you can go anywhere to find the Boxing on Beltway Podcast Network. This week, we have a little bit of a schedule update. We're also going to talk about a win for another Beltway boxer who's been finding his way as of late. And a lot of changes in the Beltway schedule. We're going to talk about that as well. Some additions as well. And we're going to highlight a local boxer's turkey giveaway. And we're going to take you back to one of the most, if not the most prominent women's boxing match in Beltway history that involved a Beltway boxer. That's the big key there. It's been a long time since we had a bout that had a prominent Beltway boxer, other than, of course, Franchon Trues-Dezurn. But in the Beltway, this is one of the most prominent bouts we've had as far as female boxing is concerned, and I was kind of right in the middle of it, and I'll tell you about that as well. It just came across my feed not too long ago, my YouTube feed, and I said, I got to talk about this a little bit. So I'm going to do that this week as well. Boxing on Beltway Podcast Network brought to you as always by Real-Time Pain Relief. From boxers, ballerinas, for shoulder pain and muscle strain, everything between, Boxing on the Beltway recommends Real-Time Pain Relief, the natural, plant-based, safe, fast, and effective ointment. You go to freepainoffer.com, buy $10 worth of Real-Time Pain Relief. You get a free $10 tube of Real-Time Pain Relief, now endorsed by two-time world heavyweight champion Big George Foreman. So try his knockout formula for Real-Time Pain Relief. Rub it on. The pain is gone in real time. And by DeborahSpears.com. She has great weight loss tips, great jewelry, great training methods at Deborah, Debra Spears.com. Well, this past Saturday, November 14th, Frederick, Maryland cruiserweight Larry Hitman Pryor, he scored his second consecutive first-round knockout at the Sports Zone in Deary, New Hampshire. And Pryor knocked out debuting Scott Lampert of Dover Plains, New York in just 78 seconds. Now, when I talked about this bout on our last podcast, I specifically mentioned that, number one, why was Scott Lampert, who was coming over from mixed martial arts, he was one of those amateur mixed martial artists, why was he facing a guy in his pro debut who had some, now, 35 fights? I never understood that. And subsequently, from what I heard, Lampert tried to come out firing at Pryor, and Pryor ended up knocking him down twice and winning the bout. So it just didn't make any sense to me at all, and it went basically the same way I thought it would. So Pryor knocked out Lampert in just 78 seconds. This is the second win. This bout took place at the Sports Zone in Deary, New Hampshire. It's the second time that Pryor has fought at the Sports Zone. On August 29th, he scored a first-round TKO over Francisco Adi Neto in that location. Pryor is now 13-22 with 7 KOs, and again, Lampert making his pro debut and not a successful one at all. So, once again, congratulations to Larry Hitman Pryor. Truly, I think one of the good guys in this business. There are a lot of good guys in this business, but I always think about, when I think about Larry Pryor, think about the fantastic interview that he gave myself and Juan Marshall, along with Travis Reeves as well. They fought each other for the Maryland State Cruiserweight title. And, I mean, Reeves started the interview, and then Pryor came in, and he was just so classy in the feet. And I'll never forget it. It's one of the best interviews that I've ever been a part of. And that's why I always remember Larry Pryor for that wonderful interview he gave me that particular day. I believe it was May of 2016 is when it was. So, yeah, really great interview. So, congratulations to Larry Hitman Pryor. Now, as far as some other updates on the schedule, now, Glenn Dezurn was scheduled to fight on a card at Hits 55 in Covington, Kentucky. And it looks like that bout did not take place. And the reason why I say that, because the guy he was scheduled to fight, Dakota Laster of Hannibal, Missouri, the two of them are going to fight again in December in South Carolina, apparently. And this time it's going to be I think that bout was scheduled for 6-round bout. This bout, I believe, is scheduled for 4 rounds. There's one coming up. It's going to be at Omar Shrine Conference Center in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. So I don't think the bout in Covington, Kentucky took place at all. So we'll see if that bout takes place again in this time in December. Speaking of bouts that's not going to take place, one of the big bouts not going to take place involves the sexy Albanian Yank Pllana of Hagerstown, Maryland, in super middleweight. He was scheduled to headline a 6-round contest against undefeated Canal Wheeler of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. However, COVID-19 did its damage once again, as it's done so often this year, not only the boxing but all over the world. But the bout was canceled due to COVID-19 restrictions in the city of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The bout was scheduled to be at the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia. So that bout is now off. No word when that to come back. As a matter of fact, there is a fundraising drive to help keep the 2300 Arena afloat, so to speak. The COVID has really damaged them, because I think they've done a lot of other things. That place, I didn't know this until recently, that place used to be known as the ECW Arena. And when Extreme Championship Wrestling used to be, that's where it used to be. And I think at one time I don't know, but it might have been the Philadelphia Arena, which goes back years to not only wrestling, but roller games and some other things they had at the Philadelphia Arena. I think it's the same place. I'm not 100% sure. But the now 2300 Arena is having some fundraising issues. So hopefully they can get enough money and keep that place going, because it's very vital, not only to Philadelphia boxing, but I think it's very viable all over, especially on the East Coast, because a lot of the boxers from New York, from, of course, the Beltway, they all go up there, and many of our Beltway boxers have participated in bouts at the 2300 Arena. So I hope they can keep that going. Now, meanwhile, Yank Pllana is making a lot of noise recently, talking about a guy by the name of Edgar Berlanga. If you had not heard about Edgar Berlanga, I forget where he's from, but he's the one that has 15. He's 15-0, all 15 wins by knockout, all 15 wins coming in the first round, all knockouts coming in the first round. So he's talking about he wants to fight him. Because he's saying Berlanga has not fought a lot of quality people. And, Pllana has the style, which is very, very weird. Again, I can always compare him to Nick Kisner. Very, very interesting style. He keeps his hands low. And that might be an interesting situation there. So Berlanga is getting it from Pllana, and they get it from another boxer as well. They want to fight him and test him. So we shall see if that takes place. But again, the bout that was scheduled for November 21st, Saturday, November 21st at the 2300 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, that bout has been canceled. Yank Pllana was scheduled to take on Canal Wheeler, who's 4-0, all 4 of his wins by knockout in the first round, due to the new COVID-19 restrictions implemented by the city of Philadelphia this past Monday. So no new days been given, and again, having a tough time now with the 2300 Arena. Let's see if they can keep it afloat. Hopefully the money will come in. Now, coming up scheduled this weekend as well, Oxon Hill, Maryland welterweight Akeem Action Jackson. He'll be in a 4-round bout against Brandon Cisneros of North Carolina. That'll be in Fort Mill, South Carolina. No word what the name of the location is. Jackson coming off that first-round knockout loss to Kashad Elliott on October 29th in Las Vegas. Cisneros is 0-1. He lost his pro debut way back in February 2019 by the first-round TKO. Also scheduled for this card, Dundalk, Maryland lightweight, the educated boxer Dorian Bostic, 3-0, all 3 of his wins by knockout. His bout, he has an opponent yet to be determined in that contest there. Also on the 21st, Brian Glazer Family JCC Auditorium in Tampa, Florida, Baltimore heavyweight Cortez Dunstan. He'll make his long-awaited pro debut against Gary Kelly in Montgomery, Alabama. Dunstan was the regional Golden Glove champion in 2016. Meanwhile, Kelly's 1-11 with 1 KO, lost by 4-round unanimous decision in his last bout to debuting Arhan Castillo on October 17th in Lakeland, Florida. So that's been coming up. And also, this new bout just came across a guy by the name of Suleiman Segawa. He's originally from Kampala, Uganda, but makes his home apparently in Silver Spring, Maryland. And he is scheduled to fight an undefeated boxer by the name of Jermaine Ortiz from Worcester, Massachusetts. This bout is scheduled to be for the vacant WBC USNBC silver lightweight title. The bout is scheduled to be held on Saturday, November 28th at the Staples Center in Los Angeles, California. Sagawa is 13-2-1 with 4 KOs, coming off a 8-round split decision draw against Zora Hamazarian, and that was at the Hirsch Coliseum in Shreveport, Louisiana, on January 31st of this year. Meanwhile, Jermaine Ortiz, undefeated, as we said, 13-0, 7 KOs, and he is coming off a second-round TKO win over Luis Ronaldo Castillo on February 28th at the Palladium in Worcester, Massachusetts. So he's fought pretty much in the New England area. Most of his bouts, Ortiz's bouts, have been at the Lincoln Twin River Event Center in Lincoln, Rhode Island. He has fought at Foxwoods once, and he fought in his hometown of Worcester in his last bout. But this is the first time he's going to go west. Sagawa's been all over the place. He's been primarily in the beginning of his career in his home country of Uganda, his home city of Kampala. He fought in the Netherlands twice, then fought in Vegas, came over to the United States, fought in Vegas, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Boston, and Plainville, Massachusetts, and last fights have been down south, Atlanta, Georgia, and Shreveport, Louisiana. His last win was in September of 2019, and that was a majority decision win over Elijah Pierce in the Buckhead Theater in Atlanta, Georgia. And I think that may have been on the Gervonta Davis card there in Atlanta. No, that wasn't. No, I take it back. That's wrong. No, it was in the Buckhead Theater in Atlanta, Georgia, small venue there. So we'll see what happens there. Bouts for the WBC USNBC Super Lightweight title. Jermaine Ortiz taking on Suleiman Sagawa of Silver Spring, Maryland, by way of Uganda, and that bout will be at the Staples Center in Los Angeles, California. And going back to the 27th real quickly, of course, Ashton Nagoon site scheduled being a bout against Alexis Espino at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, Hollywood, Florida. Now, BoxRec has not removed Dusty Hernandez Harrison's bout against Demetrius Andrade off that schedule yet. So I don't know if it's still on, still off. Buddy Harrison has not contacted me, so I'm assuming it's off, because he contacted me and told me it was off, but he hadn't contacted me to tell me he was back on. So we'll see what happens, and we'll keep you posted on that. Now, coming up this Sunday, Sunday, November 22nd, WBC Super Lightweight Champion, WBA Lightweight Champion, Gervonta Tank Davis. He'll be having a turkey giveaway at the Upton Boxing Center that's located at 1301 Pennsylvania Avenue in Baltimore, Maryland. And the giveaway gets underway at 3 p.m. Now, again, this is the side of Gervonta Davis I love to see. Now, last podcast, talked a lot about, having him try to keep himself focused, stay out of trouble. And I do mean that. I stand by that. But this is Gervonta Davis that I love, okay? This is Gervonta Davis that's been honored by, I believe, 2 mayors in Baltimore, Stephanie Rollins Blake and the current mayor, I forget his name. They have both honored, I believe, maybe 3 mayors. I think Sheila Dixon did as well. They've honored Gervonta Davis for his work in the community. And again, I go back to a lot of the riots that took place during the Freddie Gray shooting, Freddie Gray murder. Yes, it was a murder. That's another story. But anyway, Gervonta Davis was really keeping his side of Baltimore under control, and he was the calming method of keeping Baltimore from going completely weird. I mean, they did have riots, but quiet as kept. Going in that, just to sidetrack a little bit, at that time, Coppin State which is right in that location where the riots took place in West Baltimore. Coppin State lost at least 2 recruits from the basketball team during when Michael Grant was coaching there because of those riots, and that was a shame. But be as may, Gervonta was very, very calming in that time of turmoil. And in fact, he's doing this is wonderful, and I'm glad to see boxers doing this. I know Buddy Harrison and Dusty Harrison, they do a lot of these clothing drives as well as turkeys and so on. Beautiful. And I've seen other boxers do it in the Beltway over the years. The Petersons used to do it every year. They may be still doing. They used to feed the homeless and feed the hungry during Thanksgiving Day. They may still do that again this year. I don't know. But they've done that over the years. And Mike Reed, I think, did one year. And so it's great to see the Beltway boxers doing things of that nature. Jared Hurd has done many things within the community. That's a great thing to see. So is great for Gervonta Davis, and this is the Gervonta Davis I love to see. Someone who's very in touch with his community. Of course, he's from the community, and the community really, really supports him and really likes him a lot. I just don't want him to see go off the track because he's great. He really is a great guy. I've had a chance to talk to him a number of occasions. He's really a nice person when we get to know him. So you just want to keep him on track, not only in the ring but outside the ring as well. So once again, Gervonta Tank Davis is doing a turkey giveaway on Sunday, November 22nd. It'll be the Upton Boxing Center, 1901 Pennsylvania Avenue in Baltimore, downtown Baltimore, and it'll start at 3 p.m. You can get your turkeys there if you're in that area. Now, finally, this past week, something came across my timeline that made me smile, and it was really one of the nicest moments I've been a part of in boxing, and I was really more a part of this than I usually am. You know, as a reporter over the years, an announcer, I kind of take a observer's view. I don't get a chance to really get into it. I don't get involved with the promotion. Because I've never promoted a bout in my life. And I've sanctioned. I've actually been a sanctioning person. I've been the representative of the WIBA, as a matter of fact. And we'll talk that's what leads to the story. But I've been a representative of certain governing bodies. That's why I put my reporting stuff away, and I become the supervisor, and I have to go through the whole things. Like, for example, if it was a title bout, like we have a regional title bout, I have to go over the rules with everybody. You know, so it's a very interesting situation, and not too many people get the opportunity to do that, and I do appreciate it. But in this case, it was a different thing. This was one of the more prominent women's bouts we've had in the Beltway many years. And of course, again, when you talk about the great prominent boxers in the Beltway, it really, in all honesty, starts and ends with two people. It starts and ends with Isra Gergra and also Lisa Too Fierce Foster. Raging Beauty, Isra Gergra. That's where it starts. I shouldn't say where it ends. It starts with them. And they paved the way for the likes of Tori Nelson and Franchon Cruz and Amelia Moore and, you know, all the ones we've had here in the Beltway over the years. Amelia Moore's not a pro yet, but she's a very prominent amateur. So, a bout came over my timeline that takes you back to May 17th, 2014. This bout featured Tori Shonoff Nelson, who at that time was the premier female boxer in the area. And one of the best in the world, quiet as it's kept. I mean, I don't know if she ever got her just due for that, but she definitely was one of the best in the world at the time. And she faced someone who was truly a living legend in women's boxing. Now, I've been very blessed to know two other living legends in women's boxing outside, of course, Isra and Lisa. I've gotten to know Christy Martin and Layla Ali. Christy Martin fought on a couple bouts here in the Beltway, a couple of big cards in the Beltway, including the Beltway. She fought on, not the Beltway Brawl, excuse me. She fought on, I forget what card it was, but she fought on one of our big cards here in the Beltway many years ago. And of course, Layla Ali headlined two cards here in the Beltway. Not headlined, that headback. Headlined one card that was at the Prince George's Stadium. I got to talk about that card one day too. And then she headlined, that she was the co-feature on the Mike Tyson, Kevin McBride card at the Capital One Arena. So she's been in the area a couple of times. I had a chance to meet her and get to know her a little bit. And very nice lady, no question about it. Beautiful lady. But the third of that era, who was a major star at that time, was a woman by the name of Mia the Knockout St. John. Now, for those who don't remember her, and I don't know why you don't, but if you may be young enough to do it, Mia was an outstanding boxer. She actually came over from martial arts, and I think she was a black belt in karate. And of course, her husband at one time was the late actor Christoph St. John from the Young and the Restless fame. But Mia St. John was a knockout in more ways than one. She is a very beautiful woman, no question about it. And she was a great boxer, no question about it. But at the time she faced Tori, this bout took place at the Northern Virginia Community College in Anne Arundel, Virginia. Annandale, Virginia. She was really, hate to say it, but she was a shell of her former self. She really was. But to have her here to face a lady like Tori Nelson, who's really still trying to make her way in women's boxing at that time, it's a big step for her at that time, for Tori Nelson at that time. Now, Tori always wanted me to be her ring announcer. I was kind of her personal ring announcer for most of her latter part of her career. And it really started on May 17, 2014. And not only was I the ring announcer for the bout, for the card, it was a Ponytail Promotions card, I was also the MC for the press conference that took place 2 days earlier. And that was, an amazing time. I had a chance to we had a good crowd on hand there at the location where it was. And it was a great day. It really was. I mean, Mia was first class. Of course, Tori was first class. And it was a great bout. And sitting between them, I think, and quite frankly, there's men who envied me that day. You're sitting in front of in the middle of two beautiful women, so, but it was, it was great. It was a lot of fun. The bout was broadcast on a website called sportsjourney.com, which is run by my very good friend Lake Lewis, and also play-by-play man was another very good friend of mine, Rich Quinones. He and I have worked together on a couple of occasions, and really good person out of the Philadelphia, New Jersey area. And Lake Lewis is from the Washington area. And let me plug his podcast real quick. It's called After Practice. I want to take a listen to it. It's a very good podcast he does. He does a video one on YouTube and an audio one that's on many of the networks that we're on as well. So, but he's a good guy, good person, and he does a really nice podcast. Breaks down football really very, very well. He does an outstanding job with that. But anyway, the bout did not take long at all. And again, watching the bout for the first time in a couple of years, the first time I had a chance to watch the bout, Tori just dominated Mia. And in the second round, she caught her good. Tori caught Mia very good, and the bout was just stopped. And I remember Steve Smoger was the referee. Hall of Fame Steve Smoger was the referee that day. And it was just, Mia fought maybe twice after that, and her career was over. But Tori just dominated her. She was on a different level than St. John that day. But it was a very interesting day. It really was a very interesting week for me that week, because it was just being a part of something that was big for its time. And unfortunately, the bout did not turn out to be as big as the hype. But the hype was a lot of fun. It really was. Being around them. And again, Mia St. John was a very classy woman. Very, very nice lady to be around. And of course, Tori's Tori. She's a wonderful person. So, and I've known that for years. But, it was a big step for Tori. It put her more into the mainstream of women's boxing. I think she was on the fringe prior to that. And the big win over Tori, over Mia St. John, really helped her get the bouts against Clarissa Shields and some other big people that she ended up fighting down the stretch. And she had a great career. One day, we're going to go over her career, because it was a phenomenal career. Given Tori's background, given Tori's history, I mean, it was a great career. She did an outstanding job and did a lot for women's boxing in the Beltway. No question about that. So I just wanted to take a short time to go back to that, because it came across my feed, and I was like, it was a really big bout for us, and I really want to talk about it. So took us back to May 17, 2014, Tori Nelson versus Mia St. John, one of the big bouts in women's boxing here in the Beltway. But that'll do it for another edition of the Boxing on Beltway Podcast Network. And always, Boxing on Beltway Podcast Network brought to you by Real Time Pain Relief. Go to freepainoffer.com, buy $10 worth of Real Time Pain Relief. You get a free $10 tube of Real Time Pain Relief, now endorsed by Big George Foreman. And follow the heavyweight champion's knockout formula for Real Time Pain Relief. Rub it on. The pain is gone in real time. And by DeborahSpears.com. Great weight loss tips, great jewelry, and great training methods at Deborah, DEBRA Spears.com. Thanks for joining us. I'm Gary Digital Williams. Have a very happy Thanksgiving holiday. Please stay safe as you do so. Definitely. Don't have to gather. Don't do it. And once again, we thank you so much. And always remember to keep supporting the best boxing in the world. The Boxing along the Beltway. Thanks for listening, everybody. Take care.